Okay, let's dive right into this. Welcome to this explainer, where we're tackling something that honestly gives almost everyone at least a little bit of anxiety, and that's personal finance. But listen, we aren't going to look at this as some terrifying, complicated math problem today. Instead, we're looking at a highly structured 12-week roadmap. This is a 90-day financial reset, and it's completely designed to transform your relationship with money. The core thesis of this entire reset is actually incredibly validating. It says most people don't struggle with money because they're bad at math, but because they usually don't have a plan, right? If you've ever felt totally overwhelmed by your finances, it's not because you can't add or subtract. It's simply the lack of a system. By the end of this explainer, you're going to see a clear, highly actionable system recommended to help you build real wealth over the next 3 months. So here is our roadmap. We're breaking this 12-week reset down into 4 highly approachable phases: audit and cut expenses, automate and defend, invest and increase income, and finally, track your financial future. Let's jump right into phase 1. Phase 1 is audit and cut expenses. This covers weeks 1 and 2, which are all about confronting reality. To truly confront reality, the plan requires you to gather 3 months of statements and make a massive mindset shift. You need to treat your personal life exactly like a successful business. Look at it this way. A business has revenue, you have income. A business has expenses, you have spending. And a business has net profit, which is your savings rate. Think of your finances like a local McDonald's franchise. I mean, they know exactly what their profit, expenses, and revenue look like every single day, right? By using this business analogy, the framework completely strips away the emotional guilt we usually associate with spending. They are literally just numbers on a page. Let's review a hypothetical monthly spend totaling $4,650. The goal for week 2 is to look at your own categories and ask yourself objectively, can 10 to 30% of this be trimmed off the top over the next 90 days? Take the $225 being spent on Ubers, for example. We really have to question those root habits. Are those expenses happening just out of pure weekend convenience? Or consider that $750 for a car and insurance. Most people just pay the bill and never shop around for better rates. Finding these little leaks is the absolutely crucial first step to taking back control. So, why does all this matter? Well, think about it. Cutting your expenses by just $400 a month equals $4,800 a year. That is a massive chunk of change. That could be a fully funded Roth IRA contribution, it could be an extra flight to Europe, or an accelerated debt payoff. Trimming the fat has immediate, tangible rewards. Moving right along to phase 2, automate and defend. This takes us through weeks 3 to 5, which we call building your fortress. This is where the source material suggests implementing the pay yourself first pipeline. Here's how it works. Step 1, your paycheck hits your main checking account. But before you can even think about spending it, step 2 triggers an auto transfer of 5% straight into a high-yield savings account, and step 3 automatically transfers another 5% to an investing account. The psychological genius of this automation is that it removes literally all the friction. The money just magically disappears before you're ever tempted to spend it, which sets you up for completely effortless success. But part of defending that newly built fortress in week 4 means dealing with the enemy inside the gates, and that is consumer debt. 21% is the stark reality right now. That's the average credit card APR. If you're carrying a balance at 21% interest, paying it off quickly is an instant, guaranteed return on investment that you simply will not find anywhere else. And here is a hyper-actionable tip straight from the source for week 4. Call your credit card company and simply ask for a lower interest rate. Seriously, tell them you're a loyal customer and you're looking at competitive rates elsewhere. It takes maybe 5 minutes. The absolute worst they can say is no. But if they say yes, that could literally save you hundreds, if not thousands of dollars. Alternatively, plugging just an extra $75 a month into your payments can shave off months of compounding interest. Okay, once you have your debt strategy in place, week 5 is all about hitting a very specific, crucial target, a $1,000 emergency fund sitting safely in a high-yield savings account. It sounds simple enough, but a staggering 59% of Americans actually can't cross this barrier without stress. Hitting this 4-digit milestone is a massive psychological win. It gives you the total peace of mind to stop playing defense and start playing offense. Which brings us to phase 3, invest and increase income. Weeks 6 and 7 are all about planting seeds for wealth. When you compare historical returns, if you asked people on the street what the best investment over the last 100 years was, you'd probably get answers like gold or real estate. But honestly, real estate actually comes in around 3% on average. Stocks, on the other hand, specifically tracking the market via something like an S&P 500 ETF, have historically dominated, bringing in average returns of 8 to 10%. Setting up a brokerage account and automating your investments into a diversified S&P 500 index fund is presented as the ultimate wealth vehicle. It's a fantastic, low-cost, set-it-and-forget-it strategy. The power of that consistency is just immense. If $1,000 a month goes into the market at an 8% average return, in 30 years, that doesn't just make you comfortable. It builds to a life-changing $1.49 million. Trusting the process allows your money to consistently compound upon itself. But remember, investing actually requires capital. In week 7, the plan recognizes a pretty hard truth. Cost-cutting has a hard limit. I mean, you can only skip so many Ubers, right? But increasing your income, that is practically limitless. So the focus shifts entirely to growth. Strategies here include asking for a raise, or even considering job hopping every 2 years, which can sometimes net you a 30 to 40% salary increase. Starting a freelance side hustle is another great avenue, or learning a high-income skill like coding, sales, or design. Leveling up your income supercharges this entire 90-day reset. Now for the final stretch. Phase 4, track your financial future. Weeks 8 to 12 give us the expansive view. Week A is all about defining specific savings goals for the year, like, say, saving $10,000 for a down payment. But check out this fascinating psychological insight from the research. Simply writing down specific savings goals, making a plan, and sharing them with a friend increases your likelihood of achieving them by a massive 42%. So go ahead, tell your parents, tell your friends, post it online. Accountability really works. As we move into week 9, the plan tackles a classic double-edged sword: credit cards. Now, if someone is highly disciplined, they treat their credit card exactly like a debit card, paying it off in full every single month. In return, they get cash back, travel perks, and they build their payment history, which, by the way, actually makes up 35% of a credit score. But for the undisciplined, the math is brutal. They face that 21% average APR and can so easily fall into the average American credit card debt of over $7,200. It requires knowing your own habits intimately. With self-control, they're amazing tools. Without it, the strong recommendation is to stay far, far away. In week 10, the strategy demystifies the ultimate financial scorecard, which is your net worth. It's simply your total assets minus your total debts and liabilities. So let's do a quick example. If you have a house worth $100K plus $25K in savings and investments, that's $125K in total assets. But if you have a $30K car debt, you just take $125K minus $30K, which leaves you with a net worth of $95K. Tracking this monthly or quarterly is incredibly validating because it literally proves the systems are working as you watch that number climb over time. As weeks 11 and 12 finally arrive, after doing a quick review of your spending to make sure no old habits leaked back in, the focus becomes the expansive view. This is where you map out your stretch goals. What's a 1-year goal? Maybe it's saving that $10,000. A 5-year goal? Buying property or hitting $100K net worth. A 10-year goal? Total financial independence. To make this short-term 90-day sprint a long-term reality, the source heavily recommends scheduling quarterly check-ins on your calendar right now to maintain that momentum and accountability. Which leaves us with this provocative final thought. This roadmap details exactly how to audit your spending, automate your defense, invest in the future, and track your growth. Wealth isn't built overnight for sure, but it absolutely is built through the discipline of having a solid plan. So the only question left for us is, if you start this 12-week transformation today, what will your net worth be 90 days from now?